Welcome to the Rosmer and Sue video bathon number 18. Today's topic is about how selfishness is a natural state of preservation, and actually someone who is familiar with being selfish is actually a bigger giver than somebody who is not okay with being selfish. And a lot of you probably thinking, like, what the hell does that mean? So, everyone grows up hearing that you should always give, never take for yourself. Take credit for blame, but don't take credit for your successes, stuff like that. It's always give, 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 give. And if you've ever been in that position of always giving, you always it's exhausting, it's draining, and it's weak. You're always kind of operating on really low fumes, right? So kind of what I realized is you got to learn how to take, and everyone's been there, done that. But if you really look at the people who give the most in the world are people who actually know how to take. And it's just one of those things where, giving is not better than taking, and taking is not worse than giving. They're actually what I call a dualized skill set. You need to learn how to do both, and it's optimal to understand how to do both, because when you really look at it, really poor people, they have nothing to give. They can barely take care of themselves. When the plane is going down, there's a reason why you got to put on your own mask, right? You got to make yourself stronger, so that your capacity to take care of others is greater, right? Like selfishness, when you look at the design, in our human nature, it's a survival tactic. We have to take care of ourselves first to survive, so that we can take care of other people, right? And you always hear only the strong survive, and it's in the modern day, it's not really about strong. It's about strong and smart, right? Or even smart, depending on if it's modern society. Your physical strength actually doesn't matter that much, and really the physical value has deteriorated in a modern society, where it's the evolution of the human body, where strong used to kind of get things done, but if you look at technology and everything else, things are changing way faster. And in modern society, it's the smarter, more adaptable guy who is, I guess, deemed more successful than the guy who's just big, who's physically strong but would lack the mental resources. So that's why I say is, being selfish is really the step to really living a balanced and empowered life. And a lot of people I've noticed in their 40s even have a hard time with just taking for themselves. They kind of get the accepting thing, but they've mastered the giving thing, but they have no idea, because they've been programmed that taking's bad. And what I've learned is taking is fantastic. It's great. It's kind of one of those things where until you've taken, you really don't get to really appreciate what you've done, or what others want to do for you, right? Because even there's a lot of people out there I see, they can't even take a compliment, or even people who you give them stuff, they don't fully accept it, right? They're like, oh yeah, thanks, and then they give it to somebody else. And what I've noticed is the most successful people, they actually know how to give and to take. And I think the most optimal thing is giving and taking equally, and that's what I believe in. It's you maintain a balanced structure. You always hear about balance, a balanced structure of giving and taking simultaneously. So whenever someone gives you something, take it, but also find a way to give it back. So there's always that balanced, fair exchange, right? Or think of how to give it back. You don't have to do it in that same moment, but you always hear, everything's a win-lose situation, and that's the classic win or lose dynamic, or give or take dynamic. But in actuality, in real life, you can give and take at the same time. There doesn't have to be a delay, or at least look at returning the favor where it's a win-win, right? Rather than just taking and thinking, oh my God, what like those people who give a lot often receive, and then they feel guilty about taking, and they're like, what could I give back? And then usually don't end up giving anything back. They're just they just kind of take it with guilt, right? And they just kind of end up in that cycle of just a guilty take, and then depleting give, where it's giving and taking is just kind of like an exchange, creating relationship and making things happen. So yeah, that's what I'm saying is being selfish. It's actually probably the best thing that you can do, because as someone who's selfish, in their mind has the power to make things happen, right? Where they're like, yeah, I can make that happen. I can take things. Where somebody who's giving often feels like they have to give or they're required to give, and it's how would we say, it's externally motivated. And don't get me wrong, there's some people out there who like to give naturally. But yeah, often most givers typically are depleted and exhausted, and most takers are more energized and moving through things. So yeah, that's the cycle of the two skills, and that's why I think, learn to take, because society has taught us enough about giving.